Welcome to Networking with Nathaniel. This is the first episode of 2025, and I have an awesome guest lined up for you guys today. This is a real estate investing podcast. First and foremost, that's where it started. It has branched into entrepreneurial, business mindset, just growth in general. So I've had the pleasure of talking with a lot of pretty dope people on here. We ended the year with Pace Morby, big time creative real estate investor. So if you haven't checked that episode out, he dropped a lot of cool efficiency and business running tips and just kind of life running tips in that episode. You can check it out on the channel. Today, my guest is an Army vet, a former chemical engineer. He just was able to quit his W-2 by focusing very, very hard on his real estate investing journey and has acquired over the past 4 years. I want to say it was like 60 rentals totaling like $20 million. We'll get into that in just a second. Let me welcome to the stage Michael Mnatsakanian. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Nate. How you doing, brother? Thanks for having me on.
Did I get that right? Is it 60? Is it?
Yeah, it's 60, selling one right now. So I think I'll get down to 60 at that point.
Okay. Does that include the one you're sitting in right now? Because you mentioned that you were.
That does not. So I guess the one I'm selling will be offset by this one that we just bought creatively. So actually, you're right. It's a net neutral.
That's awesome. Yeah. Michael was mentioning that because he was able to quit the W-2 because he focused so hard on this vision that he and his partners had. He was able to quit his W-2 and move up north. Well, we didn't get to where up north you're at.
Yeah, so
your in-laws.
Near Monterey, California, just outside of Monterey. I've always loved the beach in coastal California. If I was leaving San Diego, I still wanted to be coastal, and we have family up around here. So with the newborn, being around family and still being close enough to the beach it was a win-win.
Yeah, double-edged sword. Of course, I mentioned it. As soon as I get started with something, Cody, our dog, is jumping on the door now. But he's going to jump on the door for a second until...
I don't even hear it.
Yeah. No. Oh, well, you will in a bit if Brittany doesn't come get it. But that's all right. What is keeping you... I know you've got your hands in a couple big pots right now. What is keeping you kind of focused, busy during the day?
Right. So you briefly mentioned that real estate investor, 60 plus properties. So although I do my best to try to make my businesses as passive as possible, that's not possible fully. So when I talk about financial freedom or passive income, I do like to clarify, if I'm getting into the weeds, that real estate investing is like semi-passive. There's a lot of things that are passively happening all the time. My rents are being collected passively. My debts are getting paid down passively. There's a lot of awesome things, but there's still things I need to get done, even with an asset manager and property management. There's still things that I need to do every once in a while for that real estate business to maintain it and keep it going, humming along smoothly. And then when I'm trying to buy more real estate, which I'm actively doing, I buy maybe 1 to 2 properties a month, slowing that down maybe to, up to 3 a quarter. So maybe closer to that 1 a month. But when I'm raising money and finding deals, that takes some of my time as well to focus on that. So ongoing part of the business requires some effort, but that's the most passive part of it. Growing the real estate business is active. It's very hard for someone to be me, replicate me, and do the things that I can do to grow our portfolio. And then I'm also an educator. I help other people in the real estate investing space. So speaking of Pace Morby, he helped dub my community the super investors, and that is my real estate investing community. So I have a paid community called Super Investors, where I teach brand new or experienced real estate investors how to more efficiently achieve financial freedom through real estate investing. And a lot of that is, there's a couple pillars in buying deals creatively from wholesalers. So buying deals from wholesalers, but understanding how to analyze deals really effectively. That's the number one skill set that I think has helped my real estate journey above everything else. I'm only buying great deals, and I know before I get into the deal exactly what I can anticipate. There's always variability, but at least I have a very good understanding of what I can anticipate, and then how much money I can raise. So like how to raise capital to find those deals. So basically mastering deal analysis, consistently generating leads without paying any money for them, and then buying and holding real estate using none of your own money. So raising capital, plus the actual blueprint, the step-by-step process of like, you do this step, then this step, then this step. I just try to answer kind of the things I wish I knew when I started a couple years ago. How do you know what's a good deal? Where do you find good deals? How do you buy those deals? Like, where's the money coming from to buy those deals? And then what is like the sequential step, the process? So you don't feel like you're in the dark of what you got to do next. Like, where should energy go? And like what's to come? Because I know that holds a lot of people back, including myself. So that, just over the last several years, iterating the process and reverse engineering financial freedom for me is through real estate investing and all the different inputs and steps, and then creating this blueprint to really make it as straightforward as possible for other investors. So maintaining my portfolio, growing my portfolio, and helping other real estate investors do the same, achieve financial freedom through real estate investing, primarily buy and holding real estate.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. You mentioned something that I've talked about a lot with people that are just getting started, is like wanting to know the entire process. It's a fine line between knowing all the steps and taking that first step, right? Because you don't want to just be learning and never actually take any action, because that's just going to leave you at the starting line, essentially. Right. So how do you kind of in your community coach people along that, like, hey, go start taking steps now?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I was listening to Ed Mylett yesterday while I was fixing up. So we just moved to this new place, and I'm redoing my office and all that. So I'm just listening to podcasts and all that. So I was listening to Ed Mylett talk about this exact thing, basically about like NASCAR drivers when they are driving, so there's a crash in front of them, there's smoke. They really can't brake, because if they brake their car, if you just stop because you see smoke and you can't see what's on the other side, if you brake, you're gonna get smashed from the back. And if all you can really do is just gas through it and power through it, and you just have to believe and trust that you're gonna be safe once you get through that. And you don't know because you can't see, and that's really what it is, because you know what the track looks like, you know what it looks like, but you don't know what obstacles are gonna come up during that process. Could be another vehicle in front of you, you could be going right into a fire, a car, whatever. You have to combine education and learning and understanding the process with some level of faith. And that does not mean like religious faith. That just means you have to trust in yourself to deal with the issues if and when they come up. And the cool part is there's only so much to deal with. I think people overthink and overcomplicate it, but it's like, you're going to buy this real estate property. If you're listening to what I say, I'm recommending that you have money set aside, you have capital, you have reserves set aside for when you buy a property, because you never know. The AC is going to go out, or something's going to go out. Even when you do due diligence and get an inspection and have a great report and, fix the roof that was leaking or whatever, you don't know, like, for example, a property that I bought, you don't know if a week later you're gonna have to replace the water heater for a couple grand and, haul out the other one and whatever. So you want to have money set aside. That's one of the biggest things. If you have reserves, you're going to be able to address a lot of problems that come up early with real estate investing. Yeah. And then understanding the step-by-step process, right? You buy the property, you're probably going to renovate it. You're going to maybe furnish it. You're going to find tenants. Like, there's only so many variables, which is what I really like about real estate investing. And you can control those by having money set aside and understanding the process, and knowing that if you believe in yourself more than anything else to address those problems, instead of putting your head in the sand, then you'll be fine. But that's where analyzing real estate investments is the only way to do it. So a lot of people come to me for consulting after they bought a property that's not performing, and we'll look at the property and the numbers, and I'm like, well, yeah, you should have never bought this. Yeah. And I tell people 99% of real estate in our country is not a good investment. It's just houses for people to live in. Let people live in those houses. You can maybe make them more profitable through more, creative management strategies, short-term rental, mid-term, rent by the room, or pad split. Like, you can make them more profitable, so more houses can work as rental properties. However, the majority just are not good investments. So the ways that you do the thing is by being really deliberate about your analysis. Like, should you even be doing this? Should you even be moving forward with this? Having reserves set aside, and then understanding the step-by-step process, just knowing that, hey, there's like 10 steps ahead of you. Once you find a good deal, this is what you got to do. It's basically the same thing over and over again. There's some variability, things will come up with some money, and then the right community of people plus the right mentor will then help you address those issues. Certain times things come up that you were not anticipating. You have to have the faith that you and the people around you are going to help solve that problem when it happens. Otherwise, you'll never you'll never achieve anything. I mean, like, you just won't if you don't have some faith in yourself. There's no, as an engineer, it was very hard for me to believe until I had proof of concept. I had the same thing where I was analyzing hundreds of real estate investments before I bought my first one. And the only reason why I bought my first one is because I gave myself an ultimatum that the next deal that I analyzed, either I bought it or I'm just done playing real estate investor. Because no matter how much I'm analyzing deals, I'm the only thing that would amount from that is I'd be a great deal analyzer. That doesn't mean I have more cash flow coming in, I'm financially free, or own real estate. Like, none of that. It just means I'm really great analyzing deals. Unless I put them under contract, buy them, and manage them, I'm never going to get the benefit of being a real estate investor. So it's like, you have to understand that there's a lot of things that'll hold you back. But then these are kind of the big things to provide clarity: is having a good process, analyzing your deals, and having some money set aside in reserves that'll address 99% of the issues that'll come up. And then having that community and the right mentorship or guidance will then further help you address situations that you just were not ready for, potentially. And, ideally you're just learning as you go. So that's the big one. You have to learn as you go. Action is the best educator.
That's what I try to instill in people a lot, is learn and then put it into play, right? Creighton Bertrand said on this podcast that I think it's knowing and not doing is not knowing, or something close to that. Like, you can read the book, but until you go put it into play and learn by, failures and things like that, like, you don't really actually know the process. You don't know the thing. So it sounds to me, and having seen you over the years here, you are a underwriter, you're a deal analyzer. I know that you have a huge, intimidating calculator, Excel sheet. And it didn't start. It didn't start super huge and convoluted, right? It started small, kind of similar to what you're saying, is like, take the first steps. Okay, well, I need to add this in, or I need, these are the pieces I need to add to this calculator now. And not everybody, but a lot of people ask us for our calculators. Like, no, you don't want my calculator. You want your own calculator that you can grow and iterate, make 2.0, 3.0. I know that, or I believe that in your community, you do share your calculator though, but you also probably do a really good job of going through
educating on it. Yeah. That's why I used to just sell the calculator, and that's fine too. And people still buy it all the time. But really, I think the best thing is I just include it in the community, and I just say, just join for 1 month. It's the same cost. Join for 1 month, get the calculator, get some other free tools and resources, or that not free, they're paid tools and resources that provide for free in the community. And the main reason is so that you can get educated on how to use the calculator, do our consultation so you can have a game plan, a strategy session for your investing, even if it's just the start of your investing journey or your, whatever it is, get a game plan consultation plus a deal analysis consultation. So I can run you through the calculator. I can help you analyze a specific deal. I can oversee your ability to analyze and provide feedback. And then there's tons of training and content on how to use the calculator. I think you actually hit the nail on the head on the various iterations of the calculator. So, for example, there's the calculator started out as a simple long-term rental, traditional financing, real estate investing calculator. And then I incorporated other management strategies, just short-term rental. And then I incorporated creative financing to it. And then I added midterm rentals and rent by the room. And then I added, if I'm going to raise capital, like, how do I know how much I can pay a private money lender or private money partner to make this deal still work? Then I added a 30-year analysis piece to it. Then so it really was that iteration of, as I'm learning and doing and I'm expanding, I'm adding to the calculator to make it better and better. Now it's like this, in my opinion, it's one of the most simple, maybe not straightforward, but it's one of the most simple ways to be able to analyze a deal and then be able to determine how much capital to raise and what the returns look like for you and your partners. But it is, simple, maybe isn't the right word, but it kind of is simple and straightforward to me. But I understand that it's not that way to most other people, especially because I understand the flow of the calculator, where maybe they won't, because I built it. Like you said, there's a lot of value in building your own. But once you plug in the numbers for the deal analysis, everything else is automated, which is really nice, especially if you're focused on raising money for your deals. Is that something that you do? Do you raise money for your real estate investing, or do you fund them yourself?
Yeah, no, we raise, typically we're typically we're funding our deals with private money partnerships
Mhm.
rather than private money lenders. That's just where we're at and what we like right now.
Right.
But yeah, we raise our money by putting in, and I would imagine your calculator kind of helps with that, a pitch deck and
100%.
talking through the numbers with people, trying to explain it. A lot of the times
Right.
we're dealing with somebody who hasn't or has bought very few properties before, and so the value of being a partner is coming in and getting the experience and learning those step by steps and seeing what an operator is
Right.
going to do to take it from a lead in the inbox from a wholesaler to people renting the house out, right? And so I wanted to ask you about like what people, you kind of already have started to mention it, what somebody can expect when they join the school community. There's a bunch of resources in there. I don't want to call them
Mhm.
free because you're paying for them, but resources.
Right.
And then you mentioned a couple consultations. Like, when does that happen? What would I expect? Let's just say I joined today.
So my recommendation is that when you join, you do all the trainings first so that you don't waste the strategy session or the deal analysis session
Mm.
asking things that you probably were going to answer through the training alone. It is incredible. And I mean, I'm biased, right? I created it, but I'm just going off the feedback provided by others. I'm literally the furthest person from thinking my stuff is perfect. It can't be improved. I constantly think, how can I make things better? How can I iterate it? I love feedback from other people like, oh, you're missing this, or I don't understand how you got from A to C. Can you clarify B for me? I love that stuff. So I'm constantly asking for like, how do we make this better and better and better for you all and for everyone in the future that comes in? Because I really do want to provide that solution that I don't think anyone else does when it comes to something very straightforward as financial freedom through buying and holding real estate using none of your own money. There's tons of resources out there, but it's like I said, it's not just the education on what makes a great deal, where do you find great deals, how to raise the money for those deals, and then how to operate and manage them. There's also tools and resources for all of it. So like for the very beginning, there's a whole series on just financial freedom and understanding what your process is going to look at, what your timeline is going to look like, how many properties you plan on buying, how much cash flow it's going to generate, all of that reverse engineered from your own personal financial freedom or cash flow goals. So like that's the foundational piece, setting your goals and setting your why. Like I'm not really the mindset guy or whatever, but like you should have a why attached to, if you say you want to have $100,000 a month, I'm not going to judge you. You do whatever you want. If you want that much, or you say you need 5,000, it's independent. You have your own goals, but understand the why behind it and the numbers that it'll take to get there. So financial freedom is number one, then deal analysis, but it's not just, and like for the financial freedom, it's not just like, here's education, here's a bunch of videos. No, here's an actual spreadsheet that helps you track your budgeting, track your net worth, and determine your financial freedom goals, how many properties you need to buy, how much money you're going to need to have to lend out to be able to be financially free based on your income goals. Second is the deal analysis. Yes, there's tons of training and videos and content, but then you also get the calculator, you get a couple other resources that make deal analysis much more straightforward. For the how to consistently find great deals, well, it's not just I'm teaching you, hey, this is the process how you find it. I literally have created a platform where wholesalers who have creatively financed deals can list all of their deals for you to buy them. So like it's not like you're like now looking through your emails and texts and getting on everyone's buyers list and all that. Here's a platform where it's already done. My VA goes in and cleans up all of the data. So it's very simple and straightforward. And this is exclusive to my community. So it's like, if you're in the community, even just for a month, you get access to this platform for life and you can buy deals directly through there. It's like all the problems and issues people have with being able to analyze deals is circumvented because it's like the deals on here already have all the information that you need. You're not wasting all this. I try to think about like, what are the most important things for people to do and what is like trivial and administrative that other people can do. And that is me reading Buy Back Your Time and implementing things like that. It's like, well, what can I automate? What can I streamline for myself and for others, right? For the super investors community, and for them to gather deals from wholesalers and to get on every buyer's list and all this stuff, and then be able to analyze it. Well, all I really care about is them having deals and then analyzing them. It doesn't matter that they're getting on every list and all that. It's like, how can I make it more efficient? Let's do the cleanup of everything and make it straightforward for them. So they just have this database of deals to constantly look at, analyze, filter out. Like, I only want these markets. I only want interest rates under 3%. I only want seller finance opportunity, whatever. It's just there because all they need are deals and then the ability to analyze them. Cool. Well, let me clear up a lot of the administrative stuff. Just another superpower for super investors. Same goes for, and that's kind of the calculator too, right? Like I said, it's not just analyzing a deal, but it's also simplifying the process of capital raising, because you know exactly what the returns would look like for you and a partner, whether you give them 30% ownership, 50%, if you give them a preferred return, you have a prime money lender versus a prime money partner. It's all there with like a simple click of a button. You literally have that information there. And then when it comes to capital raising, well, it's not just I'm teaching you the different types of capital that you can raise for these investments. I'm not just teaching you like how it affects the numbers, how you communicate with capital partners, how to actually like, what's the whole process look like for capital raising and implementing it into your deal. Well, I'm also providing all of my templates, tools, resources for every time I meet with a capital partner. Here's my initial intro pitch deck. Here it is. So you can customize it for yourself. When I'm raising money for a deal, whether it's a prime money lender or a prime money partner, here are the templates for the presentation so you can leverage those. And really part of it too is I don't want people to have excuses for why they can't take action because they don't know how to create a private money pitch deck. Cool. Yeah. I give you that.
Here's one.
Use that, customize it, make it even better for yourself. Don't use my stuff at face value. I mean, you can obviously, but like take it, customize it to you and your personality and who you are, and leverage that. I provide a CRM for free to the community for capital raising. So then you take these resources, you plug them into the CRM, exactly the one that I've built and utilized myself for capital raising. So like, it's not just education and videos and step-by-step guidance. It's also like all the tools and resources. And I'm constantly thinking of how can I make it more efficient? Could you raise money through a spreadsheet and track everything manually? Sure. Or you use the CRM that I provide you and all the templates, tools, and resources to then more efficiently have a form that people fill out, schedule calls with you so you have the meetings. It's got the automations in there, so it's sending out whatever you want. You've got, when you're doing the presentation, you've got that stuff. When you're doing the, when you're raising capital through partners, you have these templates, these pitch decks, and then you just plug it into the CRM and it just sends out to all your capital partners. I'm just constantly thinking about that for myself. And then that's what I'm providing to others. It's like, how do I make it more efficient for me? Because people have heard me say this, like, I don't care about real estate. I don't care about like real estate. I don't care about like houses or any of that stuff. I love what it does for me for financial freedom. Like I care about financial freedom. So I have the time and freedom to do whatever I want, the time and the money to do anything that I want without limitations. And that's just why I can't do a job, because that doesn't work. That's why I left my job, because that wasn't the case. But so it's like, I care about financial freedom, not actually houses. I don't care that I'd rather have as few as possible houses that result in the most amount of capital, the most amount of cash flow for me to be financially free. And the reason why I stick with real estate is because I did the math. I saw it as if I went the stock market route, it'd take me 40, 45 years of investing consistently and keeping a job. And that's all I can do. I can't really control. The only input I can control is the more money that I make and save. So then like the more I make, as long as my expenses stay fixed, that's more I save and invest. That can expedite my path to financial freedom. But, so I'm going from 45 years to 40 years to 35 years. I'm like, that's still too long. Like I'd rather put in more action and have more control. I could lend money out for higher returns, but you need to have money to lend it out. So it's kind of the same bottleneck as stock market investing. Even if, instead of 10%, you're getting 15%, 20%, it's still going to take decades to get there, and you'd have a lot of capital and there's more risk. So when it comes to real estate investing, because of the fact that you can leverage bank debt, other people's money, seller finance, primary partners, primary lenders, that addresses a huge bottleneck, which is the money side. And you have total control of the assets that you're choosing to buy, how you're managing them. If and when you refinance or sell them, like you have control of this process. You're not just putting money in.
Yep.
And the best part is you're not even putting your own money in if you become experienced. So it's like, that is why I stuck with real estate. Not that I care about houses. I do, on a personal level, love providing high quality rentals to tenants. I'm anti slumlord. I think it's actually just bad business, first and foremost. That I'm not surprised when tenants stop paying slumlords or they destroy properties. I'm not saying they should do that. I'm just not surprised at the same time. If you're not going to take care of your tenants and your properties, why should they take care of you and your properties? That's just the way I think. I'm not very, that's just the way I think about it. And so it's like, it's just good business to be a good landlord, to be a great person in general. Understand that there's a human, there's like families, there's people living in that. They're people how can you provide them a high quality product that they're willing to pay for and consistently pay for? And honestly, it's bad business for slumlords, because if there's like a little water leak and you're not fixing it, well, now it's going to become a bigger issue down the line. It's better to fix most issues up front for $100 than it is the $5,000 it'll cost in the future.
Yeah.
So like I really care about my tenants in a sense, right? Just providing high quality housing to my tenants and the people that I work with and the relationships that I built. The houses are meaningless to me. All I leverage them for is the financial freedom they provide. And so like developing this path, it's always been, okay, well, what's the asset class to focus on? And then how do I make this process as efficient as possible? I don't want to work harder than I need to. That's why I stopped wholesaling. That's why I stopped fix and flipping. I'm not doing things that are harder and don't result in the thing that I want, which is passive income or semi-passive income. So I'm just focused on the things that generate that the most, which is primarily buy and hold real estate investing, using other people's money. And with that being said, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but with that being said, how can I make that process more efficient, right? So it's not just, okay, so I want to buy and hold real estate using other people's money. And now I made it more efficient by not even doing all my own acquisitions. I'm buying deals from other people who are setting up these deals. Maybe I'm renegotiating them or seeing if there's potential to renegotiate them and make them better deals, but I'm not doing all of the work that is involved with wholesaling. As someone who's wholesaled over 100 properties, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be, once again, it limits my time freedom. If I am a wholesaler, I have to be on my A game when the seller's ready. I have to consistently call and talk to them. And like, I don't mind doing that when it's like the final stages of negotiation and all that, but all of the work that's involved before you finally get, like, just to paint the picture, the comparison, like this is, I don't even know. It's not that I'm lazy, because I'm not, because I work very hard, but I'm very efficient in the thing that results. Like all I care about is buying real estate. So how do I do that? I need money and I need deals. So how do I make these two more efficient? Well, if I don't have my own, if I'm using other people's money instead of my own, that's making it efficient. So how can I automate a lot of that process? Well, the CRM and these templates and all that make this more streamlined for me. And then for deals, right, I've created this super deals database, but the reason is I thought I was going to do all my own direct acquisitions and save $10,000 wholesaler assignment fees. But when you think about it, there's no, anytime you're wholesaling or try to find deals yourself directly, there's no guarantee you're actually going to get a deal. So you're spending time and money and like your mental bandwidth, pulling a list of motivated sellers, skip tracing them, putting them into a CRM, cold calling them, finding those that are motivated to then, touch them, talk to them 5 to 10 times, potentially put it under contract. And then it's still not a good deal that you would actually want to buy at the end of the day. So you spend all that time and energy and you still don't have a deal necessarily. And you spend all this time and energy and money up until that point, where I'd rather just find a deal that's already under contract from a wholesaler and say, okay, is this a deal that I want to buy or not? And I can do that at any time of the day. I can do it at 2 a.m. in Fiji, as long as I got internet, it doesn't matter where I'm at or what time it is. I can analyze deals and do all that from anywhere in the world. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to do my own direct acquisitions. It's more efficient to buy deals from wholesalers and just be really great at that. How can I be really great at buying deals from wholesalers and understand what I'm buying and what is possible for me to renegotiate to make this a better deal? Cool. We made that more efficient, and then make it more efficient again. Okay, well, instead of all these deals coming in through my email and text and all that, let's have a VA clean it up and put it in a spreadsheet for me to more efficiently look at. Well, cool. Well, let's put this now on a website so that my community and myself can more easily look at these deals. I'm just constantly thinking of, it's not lazy. It's how do I make it more efficient? Maybe that's the language I'll use moving forward. It's like, how do I make every part of this process efficient? And it's a lot easier when you know exactly the process that you're going to do. And I know my end goal. How do I reverse engineer that? And that's how I've basically been able to, doing that 30, 40 plus times is what allowed me to buy, 60 plus rentals in 4 years and become financially free. I mean, literally, I had no real estate when I joined the military, and halfway through, I bought my first property. 2 years after that, I said, I'm financially free. I'm not going to, I've done my service. I've done, I had some amazing impacts in the Army, especially in environmental health and preventive medicine. And so the idea was, okay, I'm not going to risk my life, my family, have us move every couple of years for the military. I think it was the best thing I've ever done as a first generation American. I literally took a pay cut to join the military because I'm that passionate about our country and I love our country. And the countries that I come from anyway, they force you to do mandatory service anyway. So having the option is a huge privilege. And just as a thank you to this amazing country, I served. And once we were financially secure, the risk did not make any more sense. So got out, and then just have continued doubling down on the real estate space. I mean, more and more over the last couple of years. I mean, I added a lot of my real estate, especially creatively and raising money over the last 2 years. The first 2 years of my journey are very different than the last 2 years. So it's really taking these last 2 years and condensing that into a straightforward path for people, providing all the tools and resources that I wish I had back then, but that I'm just able to create now because of my experience in this space. It's just an awesome thing. And then seeing other people win is like the best thing. Like just seeing other people win I've always loved helping people. So seeing them win and being a direct part of that is a huge, provides so much purpose and positivity, and just like, it's just the most amazing feeling. And I've always loved helping people. So then to be able to directly help people in what I think is probably the most important thing in this entire world, unfortunately, because money controls everything, like being financially free so that you can pursue your actual purpose in life is the most important thing, in my opinion. Like the financial freedom, I think everyone should pursue financial freedom so that you can just have control of what you do with your time. That's really what it is. So you're not limited to what you can do.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. I think that's when people do amazing things, when money is no longer an issue, is when you're able to do the most amazing things. A lot of people try to find purpose in their job and all that, and maybe they do, but I think the best purpose comes from being financially free and then having the choice to do literally anything that you want.
Yeah. And then going and doing it.
And then doing it, right. Or doing nothing too. If you want to get high and play Xbox, I mean, you're financially free, you do whatever you want. But
that'll get old quick, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Yeah.
I know that you've been before the school community, which is what, like 5 months old at this point, 4 months old?
So actually I just started in November. I started November 1st, and then we grew the community to be one of the fastest growing communities on the entire school platform. And I won this competition called the School Games, which means I'll be meeting 𝐼𝐧𝐻𝐼𝐳 in January. Yeah, it's like we were literally one of the fastest growing communities in the entire on the entire platform, and still are one of the fastest and largest community, not largest by member base, but largest overall. And that has, so I'm meeting 𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐳 later this month because of that. 𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐳, who's like a partner on the school platform.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. I didn't realize that you that you had grown it that fast. I mean, that's kind of a testament to the work that you had done previously.
Exactly.
What I was kind of getting at is that, like, you've been helping people and giving value and like posting about value-driven things since you joined Sub 2 and have been going on this journey. So then when you open up a platform like School, a community like School, people flock to it and are like, oh yeah, Mike, like what Michael says he's going to give you, you're going to get, and more. Right. And I wanted to, go ahead. Yeah.
Can I just highlight on that? Like, that's a great point, because I didn't do a lot of sales. I did 3 webinars throughout the month. Like I paid, like everyone else who grows their communities, they're paying tons of money for ads and all that stuff. I didn't do anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, it really was a testament of the value that I provided to other people for years. And they've seen my journey, my success, and they want that support and help so they can do the same thing. That is what translated to such an awesome community that we have, the Super Investors community. It was not paid marketing. It was not phenomenal sales or marketing or anything like that. It was literally the value I've been providing for years. And then the free school community that I have and the value that I provide there, which is around 800 members. And we barely market that one too. A lot of this is referrals and people just getting lots of value and sharing it with each other. And it really is, like you said, now that I look back, I never posted a single thing with the intention of how will this pay me back in a couple of years when I create my own thing or whatever. It was just, how can I provide as much value to other people? Because I really love helping people. And I know that the way my brain works, the way, I'm very analytical. I'm an engineer, right? And then the way that Pace works, who's so visionary and like, we're going to make all these amazing things happen. Well, I help people in a different sense. So it's like, we're going to help make all these things happen. Well, let's focus on the one thing that you care about, in my opinion, financial freedom. Let's focus on that. How do we get there as efficiently as possible? And then here's the step by step by step. And it's very focused. It's not everything about everything, which is sub 2. You can learn literally anything about basically anything invest. I mean, it's not even just real estate. It's literally everything. Well, mine's different. It's one singular focus, financial freedom as efficiently as possible. So you only have to work 2 hours a day and have the results that you've been looking for. Not, I mean, that's, and my brain is just very step by step by step. So it's like, how can I leverage that and help other people?
I have a couple kind of follow-on questions. One's going to be, you mentioned these training videos that you have that you recommend people watching before. How much time would I expect, or like how much time in total are those videos, just kind of rounded?
So in total,
and I'm going to watch everything in 2 speeds. So whatever you say, I'm cutting in half.
You can't with mine.
Oh,
I talk so fast anyway. You probably slow it down.
Yeah.
I think it's like 25 hours of content. So wow. It's really robust, and it's very it's incredibly robust. Just to give you a rough idea. Like I said, there's 6 main pillars in the education. So there's, we have the live weekly calls, we have live deal analysis, we have, the start here, administrative trainings, but the 6 pillars for the actual training are financial freedom, super deal analysis, lead generation, property acquisition blueprint, and mastering capital raising, plus a 6th one on systems and operations, and like how to make things more efficient and all that kind of stuff. And the majority, like a ton of the content, is in mastering deal analysis and the mastering capital raising. Those are the 2 most important parts of what I'm teaching, in my opinion. And I would say 25 hours. Everything is very like intentional and scripted. So I went in manually myself. It was much more than 25 hours initially, cleaned it up to make it as efficient as possible. And every single module, those 6 that I mentioned, have like sub modules in them, and they're broken down into like, here's this 5-minute clip, here's this 10-minute clip, very intentionally. Like I went and broke down the entire full video into smaller, more strategic clips, so that it's like very efficiently, and you can pause and continue on as you need to. But that's why I recommend the first 30 days when people join, focus on learning as much as possible, asking a bunch of questions, showing up to all the live calls. After you're done with education, scheduling your game plan one-on-one session, analyzing deals, leveraging all the resources, and then just consistently getting in the flow of it, going that second month, starting the second month, maybe do your deal analysis consultation, and you get set up on the CRM, all those kinds of things to make the process more efficient. But the education is like huge. And I've shared it with tons of people, or like really higher level people who I've been helping coach their communities or educate within their communities, people who are other big names or educators in real estate investing who have their own large communities. One person who literally wrote the book on systems and real estate investing and has helped other real estate, like that, she did that for Bigger Pockets. She's been in lots of other communities and other and she went through and she said, I've never seen someone provide not only this level of education, the education is insane, but also all the tools and resources throughout the entire process. Even on these calls, I did a call with someone yesterday too. He's like, I can't believe how transparent you are about these things. I don't know why I would hide it. I literally want everyone else to win. I'm set. I'm good for the rest of my life. I don't need to buy another property. I don't need to do anything else. Why would I not want everyone else to have a similar outcome? Like, I can't even imagine the opposite mentality. But at the same time, I've been mentored by Pace Morby, who literally embodies that, like go giving and transparency and just helping people out as much as possible. Maybe we do a few deals together, but really it's like, you guys go make your money, achieve the things that you want to do. Maybe we'll do some big, cool things together in the future. But it's like, I literally want everyone else to win. I don't know why I wouldn't, essentially.
That's how I feel too. I've said it on here, I want to win together. It's more fun. It's more fun winning together. It's not fun being on the mountain alone. You want to be on the mountain with your friends and colleagues. I love that you're starting. Well, the first pillar, it sounds like, at least, is this financial freedom from my own perspective. It's very important for us to have a clear, focused goal that we're going on. And it's not like, hey, I want to buy properties, I want to become financially free. Well, how many properties do you need? What does financial freedom look like for you? You mentioned the difference between somebody who wants 6 figures a month versus somebody that just wants $5,000 a month. Like, That's what makes me financially free. That's all I need. That's how I'm going to feel comfortable. Okay, sweet. Then you only need 2 properties, for example, right? This other person needs 50. And so I love that you're starting out there.
Well, the funny part,
yeah.
funny part to add to that is I do that for other people. So I didn't go into it with that mentality for myself. I went into it with, how can I, like when I was house hacking, how can I save money on my biggest expense, which was, paying rent at the time.
Yeah.
How can I save money on that and start investing in real estate with house hacking? So I didn't have this huge plan of, I want this level of financial freedom. It's going to require this cash flow, which means I need this many properties. But other people, majority of people want that. They want some level of clarity. The irony is, once you start the journey, everything's going to change anyway. But it's fine, because at least it gives you a North Star. It gives you a map. It gives you a coordinate for your GPS to say, okay, this is where we're working towards. It's easier now for me to do so and help other people. And I kind of wish I did that in the beginning, but there was no way. I didn't know. There was no one who was providing what I needed to then figure this stuff out. So it's just a bunch of guessing. The cool thing is, for super investors, they literally get to see everything I've done, my actual numbers, and understand, okay, well, what's realistic for them and for their timeline. For me, I just understand now, after several years of this, that it's all going to change anyway to some extent. What you thought, when I thought I was financially free 2 years ago before joining Sub 2, and Pace told me you're not financially free. First of all, your $7,500 a month is cool, but that's not going to be sufficient for the rest of your life. And even if rent increases and all that, like, you're going to make a little bit more, but I know you should be making more than that. And I was not time free. I was financially free, but I was managing my properties and doing all this stuff. Well, the first thing he taught me is exchange that financial freedom, exchange some of that cash flow to buy time freedom, and then increase the amount of financial freedom, the passive income that you have. And that's really what I did over the last 2 years. But like, just to show like what my goal was when I started, and when I thought I was first level financial freedom 2 years ago, it was financial freedom. Like, I have financial freedom in like 4 different levels, just covering your basic needs, covering your needs and wants, 2xing your needs and wants. This is like just the extra cushion that if you're going to just stop working permanently, I was never going to stop working or retire early. I was just going to focus my time and energy on things I cared about, which, for example, was helping other people with real estate investing, or just helping people with financial freedom, which happens to be through real estate investing. And then hitting that level 3, I thought, okay, I'm pretty good here. Or actually, like, I hit level 2 and then I was a little bit over that. And I thought, okay, I'm pretty good here. I think I'm done. I'm financially free. Talking to Pace, he said, dude, you're like 27. No, you got to keep working. There's all these awesome things. You're like, you're cutting yourself. Like, you're like limiting your potential, essentially. Like, you could do all these things. You're just cutting yourself way too early in the journey. I don't know what the right phrase is for that. I know there's a phrase for that, but I'm just like cutting myself short or whatever of what my true potential is. Why would I stop? Keep going. And even 4 in August, when I decided to quit my job, and I said, hey, I am officially, I think I've hit the goal. We hit level 3 plus. We're on that legacy generational wealth now. I think I'm pretty good. And he said, you're good with the level of real estate investing potentially, but there's a lot of other things you can do now. And that is where the inspiration for coaching and educating and helping other people, he said, basically, now I have the cheat code. Why would I not help other people do the same thing? That's where a lot of this came from over the last couple of months. And that's kind of what I put into motion and just creating all this stuff for everyone else.
Yeah. I love that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 was like legacy. Family on family is set.
Which is where I'm at now, basically, just like building towards, there's no like dollar amount per se on that. It's like you keep building till you feel like you're good. I'm not one who thinks generational wealth is a necessity or anything like that. I think raising kids to do things the right way and know how to earn for themselves and developing them with the right skills and habits and character traits is way more important than money. They're going to have more than enough. I mean, there's just no way at this point that they wouldn't, because of the real estate and the cash flow and all that stuff. But that doesn't like drive me. I'm not someone who's driven by money or power. Like, truly, I cared about financial freedom. I'm exceeding that now, which is awesome. But it's not like I don't have this scorecard of I need to be a billionaire or 10 billion or what. I don't care about that. It's like, as long as functionally I have the time and money to do anything that I want, and I'm a very reasonable person. I'm not buying 5 yachts, like materials have never been a driver for me. but I do like to travel and I like to enjoy my travel. I like to travel more comfortably, which is what we started implementing. But like money and power are just not main drivers for me. Helping other people and just ensuring my needs are met forever. That's all I care about. So like building a Rockefeller type legacy or whatever, I just don't, it doesn't drive me. That stuff I don't care about. It just is not. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like I want my kids to not need, but I want to instill in them the drive for them to go succeed on their own as well. Right. Yeah. You can just fart off and douche around, whatever. I'm trying to PG it, F around, or you can see what your mom and dad have done here and how we've worked every day and how those traits have been passed down to you guys, and you guys go do something of your own. Does it want to, maybe you just lean on real estate and what we've done so you can go do something else. Like maybe you want to be a freaking sculptor or something. Like go do it and put your heart into it and get up and do it every day and try to get better at it every single day and iterate and get like they say 1% better every day. So
that's 100% it. Like I think you hit the nail on the head. Like the ideal scenario is my kid, my baby girl, Mila, but also future kids will never have to worry about needs. They will not, like my family, when, my parents immigrated here, divorced very early. Mom was a single mom, raising up multiple jobs. We barely had enough funds to make ends meet. And she was too proud as a immigrant to take advantage of any of the benefits of our country. So she didn't. And we struggled a lot financially. So it's like, how can I, like, if my kids they never have to worry about food, shelter, they have stability, they have all their needs met. That is such a massive value and advantage. And then it's like working for those wants. But like you said, it's amazing for them to be able to pursue things, not just based on money. In the future, if they are focusing their career on things that they're truly passionate about, they will succeed and they will be very profitable, especially in today's economy. Like there's tons of ways to monetize literally everything and anything. It doesn't matter what you're focusing on. You could literally monetize basically anything right now. So it's like, just be really passionate and enjoy the thing you're doing. And then also, who cares if you change your mind and you want to pursue something else? They will have that freedom and that safety net to pursue the things that they truly care about without also being spoiled and overly materialistic and things like that. And like, that's just that's my wife and I, it's our parenting we have to be the one to control that, right? Like limiting the number of gifts. I'd rather just do one big gift, whatever you want, and then one experience for gifts. Like that is kind of the ideal scenario for me. You're not going to have everything you want. I'm sorry. You're going to have to, they're going to get paid and all that, whatever, and they're going to save it and then decide what things they want to buy with it. The allowance style things that I kind of wish I had when I hear about like my friends and all that throughout childhood. Like I wish I had an allowance. I wish I had these things. So an allowance, you can save for it and buy the things that you want. And then for gifts, it's like going to be modest. Like I think it's ultimately dependent on us. And that was another thing Pace highly encouraged me to not retire, was because of the fact that your kids don't care what you did or what you say that you did, or they care about what you are doing. And if you want to teach them, you have to show them. So if I'm retired and I'm just chilling around, hanging out, doing nothing all day, how am I teaching them well? Right.
Xbox,
right. It's like, but even more so if I'm doing the hard work and doing the things that I care about within my purpose, which is helping other people, how can I, like, that will be really valuable to them, because that will allow them to pursue their purpose and see that side of it. So it's pretty cool. Like when I talk about Pace, I say in sub 2, like I say that real estate is like the smallest thing that I've learned in real estate in sub 2. Like I've learned so much on how to be a better father, better husband, more intentional with my life, scheduling my life, having bigger goals, mindset, like all these other amazing things. Real estate, I've learned a lot more about creative financing and real estate investing, but everything else that he's been able to, him, the man, not just the community, but him personally, Pace has played a huge role in my investing journey. And Pace, he has changed the entire trajectory of my entire life, because I just would not even be thinking the way that I do now if it wasn't for him. Doesn't mean I probably wouldn't have bought a lot of real estate. Maybe not, because the market shifted a lot in 2022. Right when I joined sub 2, because interest rates. So actually creative financing did allow me to buy a lot more real estate, but just me as a person, as someone who's more thoughtful and mindset and all that, like he helped change all of that, because he was one of those people, right? When they say you have like the 5 people, your average of 5 people. Well, he was this upper echelon of like, whoa, look there's all these other, when recently we were in New York and he invited me to this extremely extravagant dinner in New York, downtown New York, right in Manhattan. And it's like, whoa, I've never experienced these things. I've never experienced this level of quality of food, this level of hotel, any of these things. All that stuff helps drive you and see like what is possible, right? Like if you're just from my background and you have kind of what we call, poverty mindset, like the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. If you haven't read that, it's a good book, just exposes to, these kinds of things. You just don't know what's out there. So having someone like that be a guide, be like my own level of GPS coordinates on my GPS, even though I don't want to be like Pace Morby. I love Pace Morby. I don't want to be like Pace Morby. He has a different purpose than I do. He has different goals than I do, but learning from him and having him pull me forward because of like his gravity, because he's doing so much and I'm part of that, having that pull me forward and push my goals forward to bigger goals. Like that has been an insane part of this whole journey, more than the real estate investing. And I hope I can do that for other people too, as proof of concept of what a couple of years of intentional action can accomplish for you and your family. And understanding that I did all of this while actively in the military. And then after getting out of the military, a full-time W-2 for the government, where I was very limited in what I could do during work hours and what I could post in general. That's why most of the stuff that I posted was within the private sub-2 community, because I couldn't post it publicly because of the high position that I had. We never wanted like a potential conflict that someone was lending me money or doing a deal or whatever, and that was a potential conflict with my government role. So I was very limited in what I could market and advertise for a long time. So if I was able to do it through that, I think most people can do it. But understanding that I also have some competitive advantages and everyone else has their own competitive advantages. But just, everyone's got different advantages and disadvantages. Just like take that time, and 4 years, 5 years is going to pass either way. Do a few things that'll help set you up on the right foot a couple of years down the road. Like that's all you can do. So
I know we talked about, and we're coming up on the hour here. We talked about how our work ethic and things like that are being hopefully passed down. Your daughter's coming up on 8 months. Mila.
Yes,
right?
Mila.
Yeah, Mila. What are you doing for you? How are you handling you're balancing it all with spending time with your daughter as she's aging and learning how to crawl and roll over and all those things?
Yeah. So, I'm so fortunate. At 30 years old, I'm literally financially free. I don't have to worry about a job to make money, which is like, that is a huge advantage. So I get this massive advantage. And I did a lot of my building this without a child and with a wife who's been with me since we've been together since high school. So I didn't have to worry so much about dating. And a lot of it was during COVID and in Alaska. So like, I didn't have to worry about a lot of external factors taking up my time. And we didn't have kids at the time. Like we just had Mila. So that's a huge advantage of my investing journey, that like I was afforded more time because of my surroundings, because of my wife, no kids, and where we were located. But so for me, it's very easy because it was hard. It was harder back then because I was working my full-time job. I was waking up early, working during lunch, working after work at times or weekends. Still haven't, if you look at my Instagram, or whatever, you'll see, I still adventure and have fun and do all these amazing things. It's not that I'm just sitting there working all day. I couldn't sustain myself if that was the case.
Right.
Like I'm all about working hard and for a very long period of time, but I got to enjoy life. Otherwise, what's the purpose of this whole journey? There was no benefit. I'd rather work for 40 years and enjoy my life than work like crazy for a decade and let that fly past me with no enjoyment. Like I'm very anti Alex Hormozy in that regard. Someone meet him to be funny, but I'm very not of that mindset. Like don't go in your bunker. Don't close all your windows. Don't cut everyone off and just like grind on starting a business. Like I don't think that's the way to pursue your life. Like that's for me, the journey is way more important than just the destination. So, I was very good at balancing all that for the last couple of years. And when my wife, when we had Mila in May, I was on some paternity leave and all that. And I was working fully remote in August when they asked me to come back more into office so they can set the example for other people to come back into the office. Because of, I had 80 plus staff underneath me, several direct reports. They wanted to bring everyone in. Well, of course, the leader should come in I said, I'm not going to do that. It's inefficient. It's inefficient for me to commute an hour each way. It's inefficient for me to be in this office. Like everything that I do is on Zoom and like most of the things, yes, it's in person, whatever. That was the the straw that broke the camel's back. And I said, I just quit. Like, there's no point in me doing this. So having that time then, because I had the financial freedom, I had the ability to just leave that. I was very used to working on real estate at the same time, working a W-2, 40 hours plus a week, plus the real estate. So then when I quit that job, I didn't just take all 8 or 10 hours, we'll say with commute, but let's just say 8 hours. I didn't take all 8 hours and say, okay, I'm going to add this to my real estate investing business. I said, all right, I'll take 4 of those 8 hours and add it to my real estate investing business. 2 of the, roughly, let's say it's more like 3 of those hours for my real estate investing business, 3 hours for coaching, and then 2 hours more, 2 to 4 hours, for more family time. So I didn't just take all that work time and translate to more work time in a different sense. I took that and I balanced it out to align with my lifestyle more. And then scheduling my calendar, for the most part, it's not perfect. And I'm working on this. This is something like living by a calendar, especially when you have total control of your time. It's kind of a hard thing to do. So it's funny because you have all this time. You think it'd be easy, but it's very hard to not like do a million things because you have all this time now. But so scheduling in, like, I know my baby wakes up from roughly around 7 till 8:30. And I love that wake window. I love that morning. I love to wake up I guess I'm usually up early, just, by the fireplace, getting coffee, doing my own thing in the morning. They wake up. I love being part of that wake up period. And then understanding, okay, well then she's going to sleep for a few hours. I won't be part of her full day, but then I can around noon, take time off for lunch and then go on a walk around our nice neighborhood. And then given if it's nice weather, and then in the evening cutting off at a certain time. So then I know that, or scheduling certain things like meetings at times that are not, that I want flexibility. And then knowing that, like, okay, so having that morning period, having that lunchtime period for like the walks, and then knowing kind of her schedule. And, after 5 is a really great time because she eats around 5 o'clock. I love that, especially when she's introduced to new foods. And then around 6:30, she takes a bath. And then 7, she's winding down with my wife and going to sleep. So I know I've got more time if I want to do things after that. Like, so it's just really just balancing my schedule to accommodate her life and me being part of the things that I really want to be part of, which is that morning wake window, going on a nice walk in the afternoon, and then enjoying that evening time. It's just such a special time. She's just playful, and I love bath time. I love feeding, when she eats, like she's eating solids a little bit now. So like all those things. So it's like, that's what it is. Like having the time freedom because of not having the job, not translating all that into work, and then being very intentional about the times that I block off to enjoy family time. There's still, and I'm by no means perfect. I've got so much to work on. I'm not, I've got to be better with my gym, like working out more consistently again and balancing my schedule more and more. But like, that's all we can do is just keep making things better and just iterate it. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And learning that my baby changes her windows or like her schedule.
Yeah, her sleep schedule. Yeah.
As soon as I get
if you want any help with the fitness side of things, come join Fit Fatherhood. Or you're in the school.
I'm in there already. I'm in there. Yeah. I'm prioritizing certain things right now. I know. I have to balance that over. When I try to do too much at once, it's just not possible.
You mentioned the being, not having the kid and not having to date because you had met, your wife, girlfriend from high school. I want people to notice something there that, I could compare myself to Michael, and potentially I don't want to use me literally, but like we could compare ourselves to him and be like, well, he's done so much more in 4 years and I've barely done anything. Well, his situation, his experiences, they're completely different. So we can't compare ourselves to other people. Even, you've mentioned Pace a lot of times. You can't compare yourself to Pace. Everything he's done up until this point has led him here. Everything you've done up to this point has led you here. So don't compare yourself to other people. It's literally the thief of your joy and your happiness. Just let other people do their thing. Be happy with them. Yeah, go.
Like I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think the biggest mindset issue is when people compare themselves to other people and say like, oh, I'm behind that. That's like the wrong way to think. What I've shifted the mentality, and this is another thing from Pace, people doing these things proves to me that I could do these things. Maybe not on the same timeline, but I know it's possible now. Right. So then why can't I do it if I put in the time and energy? Circumstances are all different for every single person in this world. like everyone has different circumstances, but I know it's possible. So I will do the thing that is now possible. But comparing and saying, yeah, I didn't get this much done. And like when I post and share kind of some of the highlights or how this year went or how the last, since I joined Sub 2 went, people are like, oh man, my journey is so much different. I wish I was able to accomplish so much. It's like, first of all, you don't even understand that I came into Sub 2 with almost 30 rentals myself. I was already doing wholesaling and creative financing and buying whole real estate investing and some minor capital raising. I've already done these things. So you don't even know. It's hard to compare because I was already well on the way. I added a few more tools to my tool belt, right? That helped me launch to another level, but you just don't know. So don't compare yourself in a negative way. Just look at the success of others as proof of concept what can be done for you. And that's another thing from The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I believe it's from that book where it's like, I don't want to get into, but like poverty mindset is like comparing and then saying like, I don't know the specific verbiage of it, but it's basically comparing like negatively is like a poverty mindset thing, as opposed to comparing for the sake of like, okay, this is possible. This is what I need to improve on. This is what I need to focus on, whatever. Leverage that stuff, other people, to then bolster your journey. Don't leverage it to then mess up your mindset and make yourself feel worse about where you're at. Like, what is the benefit of that? From an efficiency point of view, it's literally a waste of time. Right. And I think that's what people appreciate about me, because I don't like wasting time. So it's like, don't waste time on that. Don't waste time with that. And at the same time, I've also been depressed. I've gone through a lot of these things. I've compared myself and said, how are these people accomplishing all these things and at such a higher level and whatever, especially when you're in communities where people are accomplishing huge amounts of things, or people who are better at marketing than I am. Like, wow, look at, they've grown their social media to 100,000 followers, but I've been investing longer than them, or I have more properties than them or whatever, but they've really been, but they were more intentional about social media and marketing, where I've been more intentional about building my portfolio and becoming financially free from that. Just understand that, like, I've done it too. Literally everyone does it. Just remind yourself, stop yourself and say, there's no benefit to this. It's inefficient. Right. What is more beneficial? Well, they've done it. Cool. That means I can do it. How can I leverage what they've done to help me on my journey to accomplish the same thing and even more?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Seeing that it's possible and then going, what can I learn? What can I take that they're doing and apply it to what I want to do?
Right.
So comparing that way is positive, is a good thing. We're over time. Do you have a couple more minutes to answer this really?
Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
Okay. I like to ask everybody on the podcast, you've already mentioned books, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. You mentioned buy back your time. Was there any, like, maybe one or two books that really propelled you to where you're going, or like maybe flip the script on, hey, this is real estate is for me, anything like that? I know Rich Dad Poor Dad is really popular. Anything along those lines?
Ironically enough, that is like one of the first books that I read in this journey. I don't think it's a very good book personally. I think there's some concepts that are useful. I think it's a lot of word salad to kind of convey assets and liabilities and all that, but it is very important to understand those concepts. I just think it could have been done whatever. It's not very tactical. It's more whatever, but I'm just like that. I guess an inefficient way of conveying information. But it was one of the first books that I sat there and I read it. And I remember just powering through the entire thing. I was very intrigued by it, but it wasn't very tactical. It was just like, oh, in theory, like these are the whatever. But really good books on my real estate investing journey. So Gary Keller, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, that's a book that I read many times on like an ebook plus a physical book plus audiobook. And I was reading a lot of it and listening to a lot of it while I was at the gym in Alaska, when I was in the military active duty. So I was listening to it and reading it a lot. That was a really foundational book for me in my real estate investing journey, plus a lot of the like intro books in Bigger Pockets. So I'm talking to the person who is starting their investing journey, right? Like that's who I'm really talking to with these books. Right. So like the book on rental property investing by Brandon Turner, very good overview and step-by-step. There's a lot more advanced books. And even the Gary Keller's book is pretty advanced. It's pretty dense, but it's a really great book, in my opinion, especially when you're starting out. It's a great place to start. And then obviously none of that really, those concepts are important, but it doesn't even apply to like super investors. I literally show you exactly what you have to do step by step if you're a super investor to achieve this outcome, because the way that people do it is just inefficient. There's just so much better ways. And I'm not saying my stuff's perfect, but I know it's it's more efficient than what I see, especially if your goal is financial freedom. Like that's literally what I'm trying to help you do. Like that's it. That's like literally all I'm focused on is how could I have A, for myself, become financially free, and then B, help other people become financially free. And that's kind of why I created my, super investor blueprint, super investor community, all that stuff.
I love it. If, depending on what you believe, once your time on this earth is done, you've passed on, you've left people behind, what do you want to be remembered for, Michael?
I want to be remembered for my kids being great people. Like, I think there's no bigger purpose in life than raising great little human beings and making them great, positive contributors to the world, to the planet, to everyone else around them. Personally, I don't, some people don't want kids or whatever. For me personally, I think that's like the most important thing that I can do. And that's why I wanted to become financially free, so that I could have the time and energy to spend with my kids, ensuring and helping them. You don't have full control, right? But helping them on their journey and instilling the right beliefs and values and characters, helping them on that journey, right? You cannot force them to do anything, but helping them to become great people that are caring and think about other people and are selfless and just a net positive to this world. If everyone thought that way, I think our world would be a much better, cohesive place. But for me, I think that's the number one thing. And obviously with that in mind, right, just being a great father to my kids and being an exceptional husband to my wife. Like, in regards to like legacy, real estate investing, money, like I just hope I'm also able to help a ton of people on their overall investing journey for the sake of them becoming financially free. So if I can help create great people in this world and help other people on their financial freedom journey so they can do the same thing or pursue whatever their passions are, those are the things I'd like to be remembered for. But I don't really care about name and legacy or anything like that outside of just helping people as much as possible, including, my kids and my family.
I love it. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to boot you off, Michael.
No worries.
Hang tight though. I'd like to talk to you for a couple minutes. If you got them, if you got to go.
Yeah, good.
Okay. That was Michael Mnatsakanian. What a pleasure. What a conversation. If you're just getting started in real estate, if you're already kind of on your path and you just need some more clarity, some more efficiency, some more systems and processes to being able to reach that financial freedom like Michael was talking about, check out his school community. That's SKOOL. If you're not familiar with the school community, super investors on there. It shouldn't be difficult to find. If you cannot find it, the link will be in the show notes starting tomorrow, January 9th. It takes me a day, 24 hours to do the show notes for some reason. YouTube doesn't let me do them right away. On that note, we do have a school community of our own. It is for fathers that are busy and are having trouble struggling with the time commitment and the eating properly and just need some community and accountability around their health and fitness so they can be here for their families, just like Michael was talking about. For a long time, we want to show our kids that health and fitness is important, especially as busy career people. Having that energy, having that stamina to be able to go through those long days and work long hours and then come home and be present and powerful for our families is super important. So that's Fit Fatherhood. Let me take Jim off the thing here. That's on the school community, as well as always our Helping Hands Hour Thursday calls, noon Eastern time. That's for you guys to come in and get your questions answered around real estate. That's free. There aren't the plethora of resources that Michael has in his paid school community, but I'm open for conversations, helping you guys get unstuck. Just like Michael, I want to help you guys out. I want to win together. I do not know who the guest is next week, but we'll be live at noon Eastern time on Wednesday. I appreciate y'all for being here. See you next week.